Jin BTS breaks silence with a shocking appearance at the year's largest charity event. But why now? The world was not prepared. When Kim Seokjin, known globally as Jin of BTS, stepped into the spotlight at the most prestigious charity event of the year, the atmosphere shifted. It wasn't just a celebrity appearance. It was a statement, a disruption, a question. Why would one of the most reserved members of the world's biggest music group choose this moment, this platform, and this cause to re-emerge? Was it merely ceremonial, or was something deeper unfolding beneath the surface? Jin's presence at the event was not announced in advance. No promotional materials bore his name. No hints were dropped by organizers. Yet, as the cameras turned and the crowd gasped, there he was, stoic, composed, and unmistakably intentional. The man who often lets others speak first had chosen to speak through action. And the message, though silent, was deafening. Observers immediately began dissecting the implications. Jin, known for his humility and aversion to public spectacle outside of BTS's official engagements, had never before aligned himself so visibly with a philanthropic cause. His sudden appearance raised eyebrows not only among fans but also among social commentators who questioned whether this was a strategic pivot or a personal reckoning. Was Jin responding to a global crisis? Was he amplifying a cause that had long lived in the shadows of his conscience? The charity event itself was no ordinary gathering. It was the largest humanitarian fundraiser of the year, attended by global dignitaries, activists, and cultural icons. The theme centered on mental health, post-conflict trauma, and youth rehabilitation, issues that have increasingly surfaced in Jin's subtle public gestures and lyrics. While he did not deliver a speech, his mere attendance was interpreted as a form of advocacy. And in the world of celebrity influence, presence often speaks louder than words. What makes this moment even more compelling is Jin's historical distance from overt activism. Unlike some of his peers, he has rarely used social media to comment on political or social issues. His interviews are measured, his public persona carefully curated. Yet, those close to BTS's journey know that Jin's silence is not apathy, it is deliberation. So when he chooses to act, the world listens. Speculation intensified when several attendees reported that Jin spent significant time in private conversations with youth representatives from war-torn regions. No cameras were allowed. No transcripts were released. But the emotional reactions of those who met him suggest that Jin's involvement was not symbolic. It was deeply personal. One attendee described the encounter as transformative, noting that Jin listened more than he spoke, but when he did speak, it felt like he understood pain in a way few do. This raises a critical question. Has Jin been quietly supporting humanitarian causes all along? Some fans believe so. They point to subtle donations made under pseudonyms, anonymous contributions to mental health organizations, and his consistent support for BTS's UNICEF campaign. But this event marks a shift from private support to public alignment. And that shift is not accidental. Industry insiders suggest that Jin's decision may be linked to his recent reflections during military service. Removed from the global stage, immersed in a disciplined and introspective environment, Jin reportedly spent time reevaluating his role as a public figure. Sources close to the artist hint that he became increasingly aware of the disconnect between fame and impact. That awareness, they say, culminated in his decision to attend the charity event, not as a celebrity, but as a citizen. The timing is also critical. With BTS members pursuing individual paths and the group's future in a state of evolution, Jin's appearance could signal a new chapter, not just for him, but for the band's collective ethos. Is BTS entering an era of deeper social engagement? Is Jin leading that charge? While no official statements have been made, the symbolism is hard to ignore. Moreover, the event's organizers confirmed that Jin declined all VIP privileges. He arrived without entourage, sat among volunteers, and requested that his name not be used in promotional materials. This level of humility is rare in an industry built on visibility. It suggests that Jin's motives were not performative but profoundly authentic. Fans around the world responded with a mixture of awe and emotion. Social media lit up with tributes, theories, and expressions of gratitude. Many shared personal stories of how Jin's music had helped them through mental health struggles, drawing a direct line between his art and the event's cause. Others speculated that Jin's appearance was a coded message to the fandom, a reminder that healing and humanity are central to BTS's mission, even when not explicitly stated. But perhaps the most poignant reaction came from a young survivor of conflict who met Jin during the event. In a private post later shared publicly, she wrote, "He didn't try to fix me. He didn't offer solutions. He just sat with me in silence and made me feel seen. That was enough." This testimony encapsulates the essence of Jin's impact. In a world saturated with noise, his quiet presence becomes a beacon. His decision to attend the charity event was not a publicity stunt. It was a deliberate act of solidarity. And in doing so, Jin reminded the world that influence is not measured by volume, but by intention. As the dust settles and the headlines fade, one truth remains. Jin's appearance at the year's largest charity event was not a moment. It was a message. A message that compassion does not need a microphone, that healing begins with presence, and that even in silence, a voice can change the world. Yet the gravity of Jin's appearance continues to ripple far beyond the event itself. In the days following, several humanitarian organizations discreetly acknowledged an unexpected surge in donations, many of which were traced back to regions with high BTS fan concentrations. Analysts began connecting the dots. Jin's silent advocacy had triggered a wave of global empathy, not through slogans or campaigns, but through presence, through trust, through the unspoken bond between artist and audience. This phenomenon is not unprecedented, but rarely does it unfold with such precision. Jin's calculated absence from promotional circuits, followed by a single, emotionally charged appearance, created a vacuum that demanded interpretation. And in that vacuum, fans and observers alike projected meaning, urgency, and purpose. The result was not just awareness, it was mobilization. Moreover, whispers from within the event's planning committee suggest that Jin had been involved long before the public knew. Months prior, he reportedly initiated contact with organizers, requesting anonymity and expressing interest in specific outreach programs. His conditions were clear: no spotlight, no branding, no exploitation, just impact. This revelation reframes the narrative entirely. Jin was not invited, he volunteered. And in doing so, he redefined what it means to be a global figure in the age of performative activism. As the world continues to speculate, one truth remains unshaken. Jin's actions were deliberate, strategic, and